Our 10th anniversary dinner was meant to be a night of warmth, love, and celebration. At least, that's what I thought when I booked the private dining room, lit the candles, ordered her favorite dishes, and wore the suit she once said made me irresistible. I walked in expecting nostalgia and romance. But the moment I saw the extra place settings she'd arranged behind my back, I knew something was off, something rotten, something deliberate. She stood there in a shimmering gold dress, smiling a little too brightly, her eyes avoiding mine. Then the door behind me opened, and her ex walked in as if he belonged there. That was the moment my heart didn't shatter. It hardened, because I'd already seen the messages. I knew she had invited him, and I had already decided exactly how the night would unfold. She rushed toward him, feigning excitement, greeting him like some long-lost treasure. She expected me to explode, to make a scene, to show jealousy so she could call me insecure. But I didn't give her that satisfaction. I just smiled, walked around the table, pulled out a chair, and waited. She didn't realize I had spent the past week uncovering the truth her ex had conveniently left out. The truth she thought would stay hidden. She didn't know the man she was trying to impress was already drowning in a problem far bigger than either of them could handle. And she definitely didn't know who else I had invited. Her ex sat down, trying to appear confident, but his eyes kept flicking to me nervously, like he sensed something was wrong, something watching, something waiting. My wife leaned in close, her voice sweet and performative, clearly trying to make me jealous. "We were just catching up," she said dramatically, brushing his arm. "He's been such a good friend." The lie tasted bitter even in her own voice. I responded calmly, "Oh, I know all about your catching up." Her hand froze midair. Her ex choked slightly. Before she could ask what I meant, there was a knock at the door. The private room fell silent. Even the candles seemed to stop flickering. My wife's confusion quickly turned to panic. She hadn't invited anyone else. The door slowly opened, and there she was, his wife, 8 months pregnant. Exhausted, hurt, but resolute, she walked in with quiet dignity, one hand on her belly, the other holding the printed screenshots I'd given her earlier that day. My wife's face drained of color, as if the blood had suddenly remembered it had somewhere else to be. Her ex jumped up like he'd seen a ghost. "Melissa, what? How?" he stammered, but she silenced him with a single raised hand. No shouting, no drama, just cold, devastating calm. "Sit." The room seemed to hold its breath. My wife looked between them, realizing the trap she'd walked into. No speech, no flirtation, no fake laughter could save her now. Melissa placed the screenshots gently on the table in front of my wife. "You wanted him tonight," she said softly. "But did you know he's been lying to both of us? Or were you just hoping he'd leave me while I carry his child?" My wife's jaw trembled. She tried to speak, but her throat locked. Her ex slumped into his chair, pale as bone. He fumbled excuses, reaching for Melissa, but she pulled her hand away as if his touch was poison. She looked at me next, not with bitterness, but quiet gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered, for letting her see the truth before continuing to believe his lies. Suddenly, the night wasn't about my wife's betrayal anymore. It was about exposing the man she was trying to impress, right in front of everyone she dragged into this twisted fantasy. My wife whispered, "Elliot, please. This isn't." I held up a hand, mirroring Melissa. "Sit," I said calmly. She obeyed, frozen, staring at the table, realizing she had invited her ex to destroy our marriage, only to destroy herself. The restaurant staff outside seemed to freeze as Melissa read every message he had sent my wife, every lie, every promise, every late-night text. The worst part, my wife listened to it all in silence, realizing she had played directly into the hands of a man who didn't want her, only used her. When Melissa finished, she removed her ring, placed it on the table in front of her husband, and said, "You're his problem now." Then she turned to me. "I hope you choose someone who respects you next time." And with that, she walked out, calm, powerful, done. Her ex chased after her, begging, crying, falling apart in front of the entire restaurant. My wife watched, shattered, humiliated, exposed. She had tried to recreate a fantasy with her ex on our anniversary, only to witness the reality of who he truly was. When the door finally closed, She turned to me, eyes red and shaking. Elliot, why? Why did you do this? I leaned back, perfectly calm, completely finished. You invited betrayal to the table, I said. I just brought the truth to join it. She covered her face, breaking down right there. The night she thought would make her feel powerful became the night her illusion crumbled. And as I stood to leave, I delivered the line she would never forget. Next time you want a different man at our anniversary dinner, invite him to your new address.